Hello and welcome back. In part 4 we created our first cross-section sketch and we duplicate it to create the remaining ones. But for the time being, as you can see, they are not quite in place and there is additional work to do. But before moving to that, let me first maximize my window. We won't need the reference drawing for a while, and also let me switch to the alternate assembly where we create planes using the dummy part. And if you decide to use this method because, as you saw in the previous video, it was a really fast method to create planes at these funky angles, you might have run into an issue when duplicating sketches. I will show you what I mean. So I will launch the TF sketch tool again, and the first step was to select a coincident plane. So I will right away select this plane, and then I select the sketch, and you see the sketch is upside down. The orientation of the copy is not the same as the original, so that's the problem you may have encountered. To get through this, there is few things you need to know. So I will check the red mark to deselect the sketch, and I will go back to the plane sketch. When we select the plane, you have this small rectangle inside the big one, and this rectangle determines how the plane will be oriented. So the x-axis will be in this direction and the y-axis in this other one. So as you can see, the smaller lines determine the vertical direction, and the larger line determines the horizontal direction. So the x-y of these sketches will be x in this direction and y in this direction. That's why you have your sketch upside down. So if you take a look on the front bar, you will see that you have some options to control the orientation of the plane. If you hit the N key, you will be toggled to the next possible selection. If you keep hitting the key, you will go to the other one, and so on, so on, so on. Okay, so now I will try, let's say, this position, and then select the sketch again. As you can see, the sketch is flipped again. Deselect the sketch, go back to the plane step, and I will accept, and then pre-select the plane. Use the N key to flip to this position, select the plane. As you can see, now the x-axis is in this direction and the y-axis in this one. Now I will select the sketch again, and as you can see, the copy is now in the right position. Okay, the lesson here is when you will tear off sketches using the dummy part as method for the plane creation, you have to make sure that the plane for the new sketch is in the same orientation as the plane you will be copying from. And how do you take, let me finish this. How do you take that? You can go back to this first plane and you will say edit profile, and as you can see, the rectangle is in this corner of the plane. That means that the y-axis is in this direction and the x-axis in this one. So you will try to have at least the x-axis of the plane for the copy matching the x-axis of the original plane, and this is how you make sure that your sketch is always oriented in the same way. So I will try that again. You select this one. As you can see, the orientation is already okay, and right away I have the correct position. Then right click to finish for this one again. So it will not happen every time, but when it happens, you need to be able to fix the problem. So just press the N key and flip the orientation of the plane, then select it, as you can see. So this was just to show you that in solid edge plane can be oriented and you can control the orientation of this plane. So if you run into this kind of problem, you know how to deal with that. Okay, so let's go back to our assembly, and what we are going to do is to correct the position of the sketches and properly constrain them. Because this sketch is already correctly in place, we are going to start with this one. So we'll select it and edit profile, and as you can see, the sketch is fully defined, and this is because we have this set of constraints. So we have a lock constraint and an include constraint. So the include constraint is the result of the copy of the first sketch onto the second plane, and the lock constraint is just there to lock all the copied geometry into place. Okay, so what we are going to do is to select them and delete them. Okay, as you can see, now the geometry is not fully constrained anymore. If you grab the cycle, you can move it, and the lines as well. So I will undo this last step, and maybe before moving forward I will hide the first sketch, so it will be more easy for us to see what we are doing. And also I will hide coordinate systems except the number 3. So I will select all and right click hide. Okay, now okay, the first thing we are going to do is to make sure that these lines are snapped to the origin. So we will use our connect tool, and we are going to access it using the radial menu. As you can see, it is in this position on the radial menu. We'll select one of these endpoints, and we make sure that we select the origin of the coordinate system or the endpoint of one of these lines. Next, we make sure that the center of the arc is coincident to the origin as well, and there it is. Now we will make these two lines symmetric as we did in the first sketch. So first select the symmetry axis, then the first element and the second element, and we will create again an angle between these two lines, and we keep the value at 4 degrees. And to finish, we will add the connect constraint to snap the endpoint of this line to the middle of the arc. And now we have the sketch fully defined. So this is what we are going to do for the remaining sketches. So hide number 3, start number 4, again delete the lock and the include, and maybe this time what I'm going to do, let me first hide this one and show this one. What we're going to do is to use the relationship assistant, and then option. I want to have the, let's say maybe we check concentric, keep one connect, and here we will deselect place dimension, and okay, now we select everything in the sketch, right click to accept and cancel. Okay, you see the center point of the arc is now connected to the endpoint of the lines. So we just have to add this constraint to the, let me zoom in, to the origin of the coordinate system, and then maybe look for the middle point of the arc and then constrain it to the endpoint of this line, and then we finish with the symmetric constraint between these two lines, and we will add our angular dimension, but this time we will do things a little bit differently. We will use the smart dimension. So as you can see in the command bar, you have the length measure and the angular measure. So we first select this first line. As you can see, by default the length measure is active, so you can switch to the angle measure by hitting this button or pressing the A key on the keyboard. So I will, for this, use the option in the command bar and then select the second line and place the dimension. So the value should be 4 degrees, and there it is. Now I will close the sketch using the radial menu again, and there it is. So I will keep going on like that until I reach sketch 15, and I will come back to explain you how to build the remaining sketches. Before you get bored to death with this really repetitive and painful task, maybe now is the time to show you how to customize the radial menu so that you don't have to go each time to the symmetric constraint, the relationship assistant, and that you can access almost everything we need to fully position the cross-section sketches on the radial menu. To customize your radial menu, what you have to do is to move to the ribbon bar and click anywhere. You have several options. Customize the quick access toolbar, which is this one. Show the quick access toolbar below the ribbon. It will move to a position like this. And customize the ribbon, minimize the ribbon. What we want now is to customize the ribbon. So we'll select customize the ribbon, and we have this dialog box on the screen. So the first field in the dialog box is the environment to customize. So you can choose the sketch environment and several environments. So for the time being, we will keep the sketch environment selected. And where to choose command from, so you can choose for all tab, all command, and so on. So we'll keep again all tabs. And what to customize, you can customize the keyboard, the quick access, the ribbon, or the radial menu. This is what we want. And here all the change you made will be saved on one of these themes. So this is the out of box themes. I have this one already created, and you can do a save as to create a new one. This is what we are going to do in this tutorial. And this last field is to define with what profile you will start the software every time. So I will keep this one. Okay, we want to replace these two. I don't use them that much, so I'll replace these two with the symmetric and the relationship assistant, and you can choose to do things the way you want it. Okay, for me, I need the most the symmetric, so in this list of command in the home, you will select the symmetric and drag it and then drop it in place of this command. And I will do the same for the relationship assistant, and I will have it in this position. Maybe not, because I use extend quite often also, so I will move the relationship assistant to this position, and then I will go back to the maybe view, and then views, no view orientation, orient, orient, and then select fit and place it in this position. As you can see, you can customize the ribbon and you can fix your mistake also. So now I will choose save as, and I will rename it spiral casing and section and cross section SK. So I will know exactly why I created this in the future, and then OK and close. Now when I am inside the sketch and I launch the radial menu, I have these two additional commands available, so no need to move all the way to the ribbon. So let me show you how it works. So symmetric, just activate the radial menu and select the axis, the first element, second element, and then connect, look for the middle, connect it there, and maybe I should start with the relationship assistant, but for now I could just move this one and use the connect again. So connect it to the center of this, to this point first, and then I have to look the seems like the arc is already in the correct position. No, so the center of arc is to connect, so select it and snap it there, and then I just have to add the angle, press A on the keyboard and change the value, and there you go. So close your sketch, and you see we did all this using only the radial menu, so no need to travel kilometers just to access a tool. I use the radial menu to launch the relationship assistant, select all the entity in the sketch, right click to accept, then right away move to the connect tool and look for the middle, select this, connect it, and just look for this endpoint and connect it here, and again dimension, select the first line, press A to switch to an angle, and then position the dimension, change the value to 4, and there it is. So I didn't need the symmetry here because I used the middle point of the arc. So and then close again, using the radial menu, right click to finish, and then you are ready to move to the next one. So it is repetitive, but you can make your life a little bit more easier by using the radial menu. So I will come back when I will finish this and we will do the 16. I went ahead and I adjust all the sketches except sketch 16, and right away I will jump right in, and for this one I will also delete these two, and the shape will be a little bit different. Maybe I should first constrain it. So I will invoke the relationship assistant, select all, right click, then the connect, and look for the middle or the silhouette point of the arc, and then connect it to this endpoint. Okay. As for the center point, I will drag this a little bit apart, and maybe the center point, okay, they are connected, and select this and connect to this position as we did previously. Then symmetric axis, first element, second element, and this time we will not add the angle. We will drag this a little bit further like that, because what we want to do is this shape. So we will add a tangent line to the arc, and it will be angle 37 degrees from the horizontal. Okay, so now again I will use the tangent arc. I will select this, and maybe not. Okay, I will use the line tool from the radial menu, select the endpoint, and make sure the tangency is inferred. Then we'll create an horizontal or vertical line, I don't know, up to somewhere like that, and back to this endpoint. Now we will add a tangent constraint between this line and the arc. Okay, now the angle between this line, to switch to the angle display, and I will select, let me show the coordinate system. It is the number 17. Then I will select, okay, I did not pick the right one, 16, and I will select the x-axis using the quick pick, and now I can place the dimension and change the value to 37 degrees. Okay, the sketch is not fully defined yet. We just need one dimension, which can be either the position of this line relative to the y-axis of the coordinate system, or the length of this line. I will choose the length because in the print you can see the endpoint of this line is flush with the back face of this ring, and if you move to this view, you can see that the two rings are distant of 380. Okay, so we will input this dimension instead, and we will change the value to 380, and there it is. Now the sketch is fully defined, and something we didn't do previously is to make these two lines construction, these three lines in fact. Okay, so I will go back into the other sketches and make this line construction. So finish the sketch, and maybe I should add this one too, and it will just be a copy of the number 17. So TF sketch, the coincident plane, this one, and the sketch, this, and the name will be 18. Right click to finish and cancel. Okay, for this particular one I already made the adjustment so it fits well in place. I'll just change the angle to something a little bit smaller, so 0.5, and as expected this one should update also. Okay, we are done for this part. In the next part we are going to start building our sheet metal component. Hope to see you then, and thanks for watching.